I would next jump to talking about the construction project manager job descriptions and key functions which they perform under. So, as I said, our project manager or the construction manager, they usually work on these five management, which is project management, cost management, time management, quality, contracts, safety, and construction management professional practices. So, project management is, again, I have been talking about. So it's managing the project, the scope of work, how to go about the action items. So cost, so you manage the cost, make ensure you're within the stipulated budget. Time, make sure you're on time. Your schedule is, your timeline is looks good. Figure out where the delays are happening. Report to the higher authority. See what alternative way you can determine to make sure or support your lack of time. And then quality, your QA QC team should be equipped to identify potential issues at site, pick out all possible issues, and then make sure a compliance report has been prepared and the issue is rectified before the handover is done. So contracts, any breach of contract with any person, the contracts department is there to take care, but it should be done under the supervision of a construction project manager. Contracts team usually sits in the office, but then shouldn't poke their nose without the approval of construction project manager, because he knows what the issue is, and so what are the issues happen. So you shouldn't override the construction project manager decision and whatever his opinion about. So safety management, again, safety is first. Make sure you have the supporting PPE, required PPE for the job, hard hat, boots, safety gloves, hazard preventing equipment, all of that. You can get into a safety lecture to understand what this is. So basically, you make sure you do not have any safety related project hurdles which delay your projects. And construction management professional practice is basically ethics and professional practice. Every individual within the construction project should behave professionally. You have to assign relevant tasks to them and make sure the project and things are done in stipulated time. The next thing is the job description. We talk about setting project scope. We talk about construction management scheduling. We talk about resource allocation. We talk about coordinating operations. We will talk about maintaining communication between parties. So in setting project scope, we have heard of the term called scope of work. So which generally represent what is the list of obligations, what is the required action items, what is to be built, for how much, and by when it has to be built is what is answered under scope of work. So which ties all the stakeholders within the project to understand what has to be done. So this is what setting a project scope means, or setting a scope of work means. Then next we have construction management and scheduling. Once we have your initial schedule and tentative schedule and your agreed schedule and your estimation bid submitted, then the construction manager starts reaching out to all other teams, update them with schedule. Hey, this is what we have to do. This is our timeline. Let's prepare an action plan so that we are good within this timeline. And this is what happens in this construction management and scheduling. The next thing is resource allocation. So the main important is allocating the resource. So resources is labor, equipment, and material. So any construction project would require these three main resources, and this should always be linked to your schedule. You cannot have a schedule without your resource allocation. Hey, my rebarring requires so and so crew, so and so labor, and so machinery, so and so equipment, without which you cannot have an idea how much time would we need. So basically, productivity is linked to time, cost, and everything. So it's a tri-square. It's all linked to each other. So your schedule should always be linked to your resources. And then coordinating operations. So coordinating basically is like you have to make sure everybody within the project is understanding what they are doing. It is not that the design team is designing something and the site team is building something else. That means everybody should be on the same platform, which can be done by your weekly meetings, monthly meetings, daily meetings, morning huddles. You have to make sure everybody understands what they are doing and whether they are doing the right thing. So that can only happen when you're doing it on a regularly basis. So the more you talk, the more better you perform. So do not hesitate to ask questions. Ask 100 questions. Talk to people. Then only you understand whether you're doing the right thing or not. And that can happen only when the company's policies towards the coordination is more supportive. How good communication is within the company is reflects how good the project is performed. And then maintaining communication is again related to coordination. You need to communicate other teams to understand, hey, I reach out to a facade team, hey, I have an issue with my bracket here, this position, can you explain me why are you using this bracket? I reach out to an MEP team, hey, I have this issue, why is this box here, I have this shows me this, can you tell me why has this change be done? So this is questions. So if you are actually understanding what you're doing, you will definitely have questions, because you know whether it is right or wrong. If it is right, you go ahead, but if it's wrong, you definitely ask why it is wrong. Okay, so this is should be the mentality within you as a construction manager or a project manager, whatever. And these are certain responsibilities. You make sure that you perform your job within stipulated time and cost. As I said, time and cost is all everybody matters, everybody needs. Everybody works for time and everybody works for money. Okay, and the next thing is let's talk about a bit of construction management process on job site. So, as we very well know that we talk about integrated, we have different project delivery methods. So, not some of them, the delivery methods are integrated project delivery, which is IPD. In this, like every stakeholder in the project will be has an authority to take an advantage of the scope and contribute towards the uh, delivery of the project. So it means every stakeholder has its own responsibility, and they are responsible for their own scope of work. Then we have design, bid, build, and design, bid, build, transfer. So in design, the owner hires a separate agency who does all the design part, and another agency which designs a bid, who does the who executes the project. That is, so design, bid, it's design basically, then it's come up to a budget, and then it's build. And in design, bid, build, transfer, it is same up to the build, and transfer, it is either the owner takes it back or it handovers to the some other agency who is responsible for operation and maintenance. Like it might be a state government company or any other government institution. It is usually most of the times during government projects where design, bid, build, transfer happens. And in design, build, it is simple. One agency is the point of contact to the owner. One person is hired to both design and build the job and give it back to the client. So here only one person is whole and sole responsible to manage all vendors, subcontractor, design teams, architects. The owner only asks the person who has been contracted for it, and there is no multiple reporting agents to the owner that, hey, design team only those guys report, and construction these guys report. So design, build, whether it being design and build, only one agency or one point of contact for the owner. And the next one is construction manager at risk. That means in this project delivery system, construction manager is whole and sole person who takes the risk of the project. That means everything, he's answerable to the owner. Any issue goes, he's answerable. No, neither the owner asks the vendor, neither the subcontractor nor the contractor. It is only construction manager who has to handle all of them and then give the project back as per the intention. Okay, and then there are some processes which are related in these project delivery systems, which is bidding. Like you have to uh, this is a process where you start preparing your estimate, competitive estimates. People might come back with a repricing request. If it's not a government project, then you need to do all value engineering and then come up with a competitive bid. Feasibility, in this feasibility, like the construction manager is responsible to do all these surveys, take do all this permitting, documentation work, and all of that, so that he makes sure that the construction site is fit for construction and good to go in terms of external works. So pre-construction, again, I could say engineering, design, final bid, all of that. Once it has been understood what the intent of the project is, you get closer to finalize the plan, you get to finalize the schedule, you need get to finalize the budget of the project. And then once that is done, your procurement supply chain comes into picture when you decide to go ahead and build the project. So once pre-construction is close to completion, procurement and supply chain should be active or way before that, so that your construction is not affected. So I would say procurement, supply chain should be very, very active, should always have forecasts for should always have good forecasts, so that they do not end up having supply issues, end up delaying project just because then I do not have the material to build it. So again, construction is all about, we are speaking, it is execution at site. It is all like all the site teams have to perform their responsibilities, make sure you're doing the right thing. If there are any issues coming up, have regular site meetings, understand what is the issues and make them rectify. And the next thing we talk about, usually this doesn't happen most of the time, but sometimes there's a change in management. Hey, the client sells the project to somebody else. There's a new owner who comes in. He says, hey, I don't want this, I don't want that, please change this, please change that, I'm not interested. Then the other person is, no, the owner, I am the owner. So here this will also cause some project delay. But at the end of the day, you have to agree. But if you're good in terms of contractual documents, you can negotiate with change orders and change of management. But then again, if this happens, this is a bottleneck in the project. And then again, I said occupancy and handover, the most problematic phase in any construction project. You have got too many issues, everybody starts fighting, the people start hating themselves because, hey, you did this is not my job, it was your mistake, your person did it, not mine. All quality issues, because quality team is leading everybody there. They become the enemies for everybody because they point out everybody's issues. So these are some of the main items main things which happen in a construction project, and what a construction management professional faces at job site. So that was more of what construction management in general looks. But let's talk about some academia side of construction management studies. I shifted this with the whole purpose of explaining you guys that it would always be better if you have an idea what a construction management is, and then understand what academia and coursework has in terms of construction management.